Hi, this is Devin with raddevon.com. I'm here with my friend Brandon, and we're going to talk about a project he's been working on for me. It's an arcade cabinet. He's building it mostly from scratch. We've used a few pre-fabricated parts, but we're going to tell you a little bit about the process. Okay, Brandon, tell us a little bit about the arcade cabinet here.
We started completely from scratch. As you can see, this is a particle board. I used 5/8 of an inch, which cuts back a little bit on the weight, so you don't have a huge piece of heavy machinery to push around. This is the arcade pad that you bought online. I think you paid around $100.
I think it was $100. A hot rod joystick. We cheated a little bit there, but
for good reason.
Yeah.
This makes it all worth it. It's the easiest way to get around everything. It connects directly to your computer, just as if it was a keyboard and mouse function.
Right. Otherwise, you have to wire up the buttons and the joysticks individually.
And that would take a long time, and it's tedious stuff that I don't want to deal with.
Definitely $100 worth of labor.
By far. But yeah, we took this design off the internet. I modified it a little, this section right here, by adding this curve and this locking mechanism. It keeps this from ever falling off, and you don't ever have to attach it.
Mm-hmm.
I got the vintage coin door off of eBay. I think that was $30.
Very nice.
Added some locks already, where you can get in from the front. See, it's a full functioning coin door if you wanted to wire it up to where it would work only if you entered a quarter, but that's a little beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fully functional, so you could do that if you wanted to. Little lights here, so the 25-cent signs will light up.
Gives it an authentic look anyway.
Oh yeah, it's very nice for that reason. Used a piano hinge. It's a lot more structurally sound for that, because it spreads the forget the word. It spreads evenly the torque that's going to be pushed on the door, so that you don't want to put a lot of pressure on particle board or MDF, because it can just rip right out. So by spreading it evenly, you get a whole lot stronger solution to any kind of hinge situation. Monitor. That
came from FreeCycle. I believe it's freecycle.org. I'll put the link in the show notes. Found a lady who was giving away a 19-inch compact CRT. Deliberated a little bit about what kind of monitor to use, and it looked like CRT was the best option because it can match the refresh rate of the original arcade machine.
It gives it a more authentic look as well.
Right.
You know, put it on a newer monitor, it's not going to look the same as you remember. That's what you want. You want to bring back some memories.
Right. Recreate the experience.
Oh yeah. The latest step that I was on was installing the glass. I got it cut for $20. It's a 1/4-inch glass. And I've got it to where you can recess it in here. And right now it'll hold itself, but I've bought trim that will, once you get everything the way you want it, I'm gonna have to paint. I'd like to paint this monitor black, so you don't have any type of anything distracting your eyes or anything. And another trick I saw is tape the screen or the glass off and paint the back of the screen.
Okay.
Or not the screen, but the back of the glass.
Right.
And that keeps you from looking at anything on the inside. So that's a good little effect. It's easy, and it's on the back, so this is just like a solid sheet of glass. Another authentic feature. Almost forgot. I got 40 feet of this for, what was it, $27, I think. And it's very easy. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there. Gets the shape and the name because it looks like a T.
Right.
So what you do here is you take your router and you go up the middle part of the edge of the whole thing, and you just damp it in with a rubber hammer, and it brings back that, you know, vintage feeling I heard some guys talking about. I always remember going to the arcade, and you always notice the cigarette burns on the side of the T-molding, you know. People have done that. So hopefully, I don't think yours is going to have any of that on it, but we could add some just for some authentic feeling if you like.
How many hours would you guess you have in putting this cabinet together at this point?
If I had to guess, I would say about 45,
Okay.
somewhere in that range, because I'm contemplating as I'm building. You know, I
Okay.
have a rough sketch and some plans that I started with, but as you go along, things change. Like I said, structurally, you think, okay, that's not going to be the safest way to do this. Let's look this through.
How many hours would you say you have left to put into it?
I would say, depending on how much I got to think, 20, 25 more hours. I'm probably about 60, 65% through the whole project.
If you were doing this project again, what would you change?
Where I did it.
Okay.
Just because my little, you know, tool building and so it's not large enough.
We're in the shed.
Yeah, it's not
The
large.
shed in the
You know,
backyard.
it's mainly storage and
Right.
a place where I can put some of my tools. So really, my floor space isn't there.
What do you think is causing the downfall of arcades? Well, I guess they've pretty much fallen. They're pretty much at the bottom right now.
Yeah.
What caused them to get there?
Oh, obviously, the biggest thing has got to be home systems.
Right.
That's the huge thing. I mean, you know, like I said, the last time I was there to play we played DDR. But now you can do that at home. You
Right.
can buy arcade-style pads
Mhm.
that are more durable and stronger for them online, and it's just like the arcade, and you can play limitlessly at that point. You don't have to worry about quarters.
What would they have to do to get you back into an arcade?
I don't know if it's, you know, 3D holographics or whatever, but something completely different. It's going to have to be, you can't just go up and push buttons and look at the screen anymore.
Thank you for talking to me. We've got a lot of good information. If you've got any extra information, like maybe the plans that you used, the pricing list, we'll post that online, and hopefully we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Okay, if anybody has any questions for me specifically, they can hit me up at rcubeman@comcast.net.
Okay, and we will put that in the lower third of the screen. Also, I'll put it in the show notes for you in case you want to email Brandon. If you like this episode, go to raddevon.com in your browser. Scroll down on the right-hand side of the page to find the podcast subscription links. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another episode in 2 weeks.